Mm, mm, mm. Mm, 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 mm. All right. What is going on? Hey everybody, what's going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome to I Was Her. I did not get the music on last time because the last time I noticed that if I play music that is public or whatever, let me see, learn more. What does that mean? Oop, nope, that's not what I want. So people say something in the chat. I don't know if the chat is working or not. I'm not sure if I see anybody. Um, just wanting to, let me also put on social media that I am live. Let me write it. I'm going to say it on here. Okay, let me make sure. I don't want to be that. Ooh, I'm going to be live while I'm on live with y'all. Like, that'd be cool. That'd be dope. Let me do that. Say, I am live. Okay. 10 people. What's going on, y'all? I am going to let me say. I'll be on live while I'm on live with y'all. Really? I don't want it right there. I want it right here. Guys. Okay, guys, I am live right now on YouTube. I am live right now. So if you guys want to tune in to the second episode of I Was Her, I am live now. Go to my YouTube, click the link in my bio. I Was Her. It is on right now. I Was Her. I Was Her. I Was Her. It is on my YouTube. Click the link in my bio to go to my YouTube to watch me on YouTube. Okay, go now. All right, I Was Her. Starting now. All right, guys. That was about all I need to do. Hey guys, welcome to I Was Her. This is the second episode of I Was Her. Hello, everybody. Great to see everybody in the chat. I was just trying to see if I saw anybody that I was like, okay, hold on. I didn't know if it was working or not. Because again, y'all know this is an interactive show for me. This is something that we go back and forth, we discuss. It's not just me talking. So happy to see you guys. So happy to be on. So happy to do my second episode of I Was Her with you guys. So excited. People from the UK on here, people from Tucson. That's what's up. Where else are people from? Let me see. Like, what's up? Where are you guys from? See, somebody from the UK, someone from Tucson, Washington, D.C. Where else are y'all from? Canada, turn up on them one time. Tampa, Florida, Canada. First of all, I love Canadians. You know, Canadians are like the nicest people. I don't know if you guys know Mississippi, New Jersey, Los Angeles, Australia. Turn up. Seattle, Washington. Seattle, Washington is Natasha. Hey, Natasha, what's going on, girl? How you doing? South Carolina, Arkansas, Ohio, Georgia in the house, Jamaica. What's up? Toronto. That's what's up. That is what is up, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so excited about this. Again, this is my passion project. It's my second episode of I Was Her. You guys wrote in. A lot of you guys wrote in and did Atlanta, Memphis. Let me see. Fort Smith, Arkansas, prayed for a Bible study. Oh, that's what's up. Cincinnati, Ohio. That's kind of like how I started my whole Bible study anyway, was me trying to figure out what made sense for me as it related to that. So it's awesome that, people are on here and, they wanted the same thing I wanted. That's why I started this thing. So that's what's up, guys. Cali. Love Cali. Gotta love Cali. Um, okay. So you guys know the name of the game. I'm gonna give you a little bit of Texas. I'm gonna give you a little bit of background of what this is for those who are just tuning in to the show. Um, I Was Her is a platform that I created because I felt like too many people aren't being real in society. They're not keeping it 100 about their experiences, not being honest about certain things that they've seen, that they've done, whatever that may be. And so I wanted to create a platform where I'm just basically saying, listen, I was her. I am no better than you. I have been in the same situation. I'm not going to act like I haven't. I'm not going to front. And so that is what this is. This is exactly what this is. It's a non-shaming, non-judgmental platform. And I'm basically reading stories and giving advice based upon my experience, based on things that I've seen, on things that I've heard, and what I would tell my best friend. And that's what this is all about. Is me being honest with you guys, not BSing y'all at all, and just reading y'all stories, hearing your heart, and you guys also being able to hear the responses of people that are watching, that are following, that are hearing the story and not knowing you at all. Maybe it helps to have an unbiased opinion, to hear what we have to say. So this is what this is all about. And like I said, I was her is me basically saying I was her. I'm not gonna act like I wasn't. And so that's what this is. That's the name of the game. I also want to run down the other things I have going on. Be Your Body Goals is my fitness program that I'm doing with my trainer. Get Fit with LJ. Y'all have to the end of the month really to sign up for Be Your Body Goals. I'm very big about women staying in shape. We got to keep it up, ladies. We can't just slack. We can't let it go. So that is what that is. Be Your Own Body Goals. I'm going to keep that. Whatever. Patreon. I'm starting a women's support group called Power Up, and it's going to be on my Patreon account. So if you want to sign up for a women's support group that honestly is cheaper than therapy, way cheaper than what I would normally charge anybody in a therapeutic situation. But I wanted it to be affordable. I also wanted it to be something that we could all do together. So it's my women's support group. There's 3 different tiers, 10, 15, 20 for the month. And you get to be involved in that. So that's what that is. Um, and that's my Power Up support group. So we've got that. We got the housekeeping. So we have my Patreon, we have BYBG, we have Miracle Monday, which you guys already know about, and we have I Was Her, which is this, where I come on and I'm giving advice based on certain things. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I just want to ask you guys how y'all doing. How's everybody doing? Oh, and I also want to say the first person. Oh, I love. Thank you, Catherine. I'm glad you caught a live too. Listen, I'm trying to get. I need to post that I'm on YouTube or something because I mean, let me see. Let me see. Oh, mm, so wait. Okay, it's saying download. Okay, and then that's it. All right. So I would just put that on here. I'm just gonna say that. All right, now let me do this. Delete this and put my YouTube account up. Lord, you guys, I'm so bad at this whole social media stuff. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm so not good at this. So not good at this, y'all. I am not good at this. But I'm gonna get it. Listen, I'm gonna figure this thing out. I'm a work in progress, y'all. I'm a work in progress. Um, I don't even know the name of my thing, my handle. But it is what it is, y'all. We gonna get it together. We gonna get it together. So anyway, I thank you guys for tuning in, all 43 of you guys. And I'm gonna post right now in my thing, my story, that I'm on here, that I'm live. Um, Let me do that. Delete, and then I'm gonna put the link in there, and then we're gonna get started with these stories. Um, I hope I'm doing the right one, y'all, because look, that would be the okay, cool. Yeah, I'm doing the right one. And we are on. Okay, and I'm posting it. So anyway, guys, I got it all in there. And now we about to answer these stories. We about to answer these stories. So I'm about to put this on, put the link in, and we are done here. I'm not going to waste y'all time. So anyways, guys, I am going to go ahead and start answering questions. That's the name of the game. You guys write me and I go ahead and read them. So, oh, my cousin's on here. Hey, look, my cousin's on here. Okay. So it's a party, y'all. It's a party. But we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna start answering some questions. I'm gonna do a long one and then I'm gonna do a short one and then a long one, just to kind of spice it up a little bit. So the first question, which we have a lot of questions this week, it's a really good week. Oh, I also want to read y'all a quote. A quote that I have is, yeah, she fell. She got distracted. She lost her direction. She made some mistakes, broke some promises, forgot who she was, dot, 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 but she got up. That's a good one, man. That's a word. Yeah, she fell. Yeah, she got distracted. Yeah, she lost her direction. Yeah, she made some mistakes. Yeah, she broke some promises. Yes, she forgot who she was, but she got up. Period. It's all about getting back up, y'all. So anyway, let me go ahead and read you guys the first question of the second episode. Okay, so here we go. All right. All right. Hey, Sam. I watched your first episode on YouTube. I just love watching and listening to you. You really know how to deliver your messages, words of encouragement, and insights. I'm a follower of Christ. And also, I truly put God first in all things to the best I can. I have one question with regards to my situation. I'm engaged to a man that I have been with for the last 6 years, and we are due to marry in November. 80%, he is a good man. He's a follower of Christ. Also, we really try to put God first in our relationship, although you spoke a lot about red flags. And honestly, for the whole entire time we've been together, he does so many things that defines him as a good man. But in moments of conflict or disagreements, he takes it to a whole other level of speaking to me so aggressively, disrespectfully, with a lot of anger and aggression, especially if the topic involves him. I honestly feel deep down it's not right, and no man should find it acceptable to speak that way. I am honestly tired and feel that even though all the other things he does, other things are great that he does, he's always home. He serves in the home. This is one of the things that about his character that makes me feel really low inside and worthless. He moved in with me and my daughter 6 years ago. And my daughter, who's now 12 years old, she's from my ex relationship 10 years ago, which was also very toxic and mentally as well, mentally as well as physically abusive. I feel my current partner can trigger those same feelings that I felt when he speaks to me this way. I trust in God's plan for my life and I will give my situation always to God, as I know he will always give me the answer. But I just felt it on my heart to message you this. Also, he moved out currently and he went back to his parents' house in Zimbabwe and left me and my daughter here in Dubai to find healing, as he can't afford to find somewhere to live here, as he hasn't been paid his salary since November last year with his company. Thank you. Ooh. All right, sis. So you drop one on me. Let me process this out. Again, shoes happy, my shirt. Okay, so what it sounds like to me, from what I understand, is that you've been with the guy for 6 years. He was living with you and your daughter, but then something happened because I would assume because of COVID, he ended up moving back to Zimbabwe, where he's from. And you're now in Dubai with your daughter, I guess, holding things down on your own like you have been since November. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't think necessarily somebody arguing in a way that's disrespectful. That's not, I wouldn't say, oh, end a whole situation because somebody talks to you a certain way in a relationship. Hear me out, y'all. Y'all might not agree, whatever, but this is what I believe. That's something that can change. That's something that somebody can alter. You don't necessarily you don't necessarily have to leave somebody because they talk to you a certain way. They can alter their approach. That's fixable. If they want to change, they're able to change. So that in itself, I feel like can be worked on with therapy and just a partner that's willing to adjust his approach in that way. That's number one. I feel like that would be one thing. But then you say he hasn't worked since November. So now, it's now going into March. And he moved out to go back to Zimbabwe to find healing, which what healing did he need healing? Could he not get healing where you were? Um I think the fact that he left to Zimbabwe and left you in Dubai with your daughter for you to figure it out. Shout out to the fact that there's someone from Dubai listening to this. That's awesome. I'm kind of feeling like you may need to leave him in Zimbabwe, sis. Um, I know it's a 6-year relationship, but it sounds like he's not really, yes, he's a good man. He's cooking, he's doing things for you, but the fact that he left you in Dubai to go to Zimbabwe to find healing. And then, I mean, well, it's like there's mature. It's mature to recognize that you need help. It's mature to say, let me separate from the situation and figure out what I need to do next to do better. That's maturity. Um, I'm not saying that this is not a redeemable situation. I'm not saying that you need to exactly leave the situation. I'm just saying that there may be some red flags here because there's some things you're not telling me in this situation. That's what I'm getting. I'm not getting the full picture based upon what you're saying here. What you're saying here kind of sounds like half the story. But I think that there's some red flags that God's been showing you. Um, and I think you need to believe them. I think sometimes we pray for things, we pray for answers, we pray for responses. We want God to answer, we want God to answer. And then we see that we hear God's answer and then we stay in it anyway. And like it's like, okay, well, you might as well have not even asked God for his response. But a lot of the things that you're sharing with me about the way he communicates with you, about the way that he makes you feel after an argument, you feel disrespected, you feel the way that you felt when you were in an abusive relationship that was physically and emotionally and just completely toxic. You've been with him for 6 years. You're about to marry him in November, but he lost his job. He went back to his country. There's a lot that's not right about the situation. And I just want you to take your time and not just say, oh, because it's the first person or this is the person right now that wants to marry me, that I'm going to walk down the aisle to them. I think that it's very, very important to check into all the signs before you say, I do. I do is forever. I do is a real binding commitment. And that's not something to take lightly. So I think that you asking me this question, just like someone said in the chat, your gut is telling you that marrying him may be a mistake. That's why you're asking about it. So you should trust your gut. And I think you're 100% right about that. I think there's something that's telling you that this is not right. There's something that's telling you, like, hey, I'm not sure about this. This doesn't feel right. My spirit is not in agreement with the way he's doing things. I don't want to necessarily end a relationship or this marriage because we're planning to get married. But I feel like sometimes we're fighting to hold on to things that aren't meant for us. And then they have to leave. They have to physically leave us to get us to do what God has been asking us to do. Because God knew if he stayed in the same spot, you would stay in the same situation. So my answer is really, sis, like really pay attention to your gut, trust your instincts. Don't allow yourself to stay in anything out of fear of disappointing other people, out of fear of societal pressure, anything else. You really have to go with your peace. You also have to go with your gut. And I think your gut is telling you a lot. I think you should trust it. And that's your spirit, but I think we as women, we have a lot of relational pressure to get married and to to have something to call our own. And so we stay in situations that are unhealthy, and we know they're not right, but we just kind of stick with it and ride this ride. And I feel as though you have to fight for your peace, sis. And I think you got to trust your gut on this one. I don't know. I'm not sure if this is it for you. So, um, I also don't think in and of itself, the way he's speaking to you is a reason to leave, because if he's willing to adjust his approach, people can learn how to talk to people differently. We all aren't raised the same way, but there's other things that sound like we're not getting from this letter that is very important for me for you to really look into, to get it going. So let me just say that. Let me just go with that. So let's go to a short question. I like to spice these things up. Hmm. What's my love language? Um my love language, y'all, is quality time and acts of service. Those are my two main ones. Like, somebody spending uninterrupted, like focused time with me is my love language. And then acts of service, somebody doing things for me to make, life chores, whatever, easier. Like if somebody does the dishes and I'm gonna go do the dishes. I'm like low key clean freak. So somebody cleaning up for me or doing things to help me out, that is my love language. Like totally my love language. So, um, everybody familiar with love languages before I answer that question and move on? Everybody familiar? I don't know if it's like me or everybody familiar. I don't know. It might be a little delayed. Yes. Okay. Everybody's from. Okay. Okay. Cool. As long as everybody's familiar, that's a bet. Okay. Um. Okay. There's some really good questions on here, y'all. So there's some really, really, really deep ones. So, and for you to figure out what a love language is, all you got to do is you can Google a quiz. There's love language quiz online, y'all, that you can take, and they can tell you what your what your love languages are. So that's I mean, that's an easy way of figuring it out. Um, I read John Gottman's book, love languages, and that's a really great read as well. Very important for you to know your language of love. It's also good to know your language of apology. That I learned from an old friend of mine, the five languages of apology, to know what apology language speaks to you. That's also very important. So the next thing is how to discern whether to leave or stay in your relationship when feeling conflicted. I think that when you're dealing with relationships, and it doesn't sound like this is a marriage. So when you're dealing with relationships, I think that it's very important for us as women to understand these people are suitors. These are people that are, like I said last week, y'all, when you're in a relationship and you ain't married and you're just kind of like dating and doing whatever, these people are signing, they're trying out for a position. They are trying out for a position. There's other people that are vying for the same position. And if this person is making you feel conflicted in a way that you feel like, I don't know if I want to continue or not because of X, Y, and Z, and it's character issues, character flaws that you need to pay attention to. Listen to the signs. Trust me. Listen to the signs. Do not allow yourself to get caught up in all the smoke that you don't see the things that you need in a relationship. Don't just stay in something just to stay in something. Um there's a lot of other, I think sometimes we just kind of like, oh, we got to stick with it. And the reality is you don't have to stick with it. Like if somebody ain't working, if somebody ain't doing right, they need to go left. Like we need to move on. Like we don't need to hold on to nothing. Okay? If something is taking away your peace, that's number one. If something is taking away your peace, you don't feel at peace with the situation, you're constantly thinking about it, you're marinating, like, I need to end this relationship. I need to end this relationship. God, if you want me to end this relationship, ending the relationship is constantly on your mind. You may need to leave the relationship. If it's constantly on your spirit that you need to move on outside of an argument perspective, outside of just y'all fighting, you're like, man, I don't know about this. Like, I don't know. You may need to go, you may need to exit stage left. That's one sign. If it's taking away your peace, if it's something that you're like, dang, I don't want to see it. I already know what this is about. This is not an environment where I feel like I'm at peace. Well, then God don't want you. God is a God of peace. And here's the thing about this. We can choose peace no matter what the circumstances are. But if something is constantly like this is a thorn in your flesh type of situation, and when you're not home, you're more at peace than when you are home, and you don't want to go home because it's not peaceful and it's not an environment it's just a toxic environment. You just feeling heavy, you carrying burdens that ain't yours. Like if you dealing with that, like you need to like that may not be where God has you. That may not be where God has you. And that doesn't necessarily mean relationships go through things. They do. They absolutely do. But there are certain levels to relationships, to marriages. There's certain points where they become unhealthy. And that's honestly, women in marriages, if you look it up, we don't do well in marriages. Marriages are actually good for men. Like physiologically, psychologically, emotionally, men do very well in marriage. Why? Because of security. Okay. It's like a secure type of situation. They're getting, they have a consistent partner, consistent sexual partner. The stability of marriage does very well for men. Women, emotionally, we don't emotionally, physically, all of the above. Women do not do well in marriage. We don't. Our psychology suffers. And I think it's because women, we are caretakers. We go into a role and we throw ourselves into this role and we try so hard to be a wife. You try so hard to be everything for this person. You try so hard to emulate things you probably didn't emulate, you never saw, whatever that was. You try so hard to throw yourself into a role, and then you realize like this person ain't working as hard as me to keep this family intact. I'm just constantly having to maneuver and shift and take on everything and take on every role. And this person ain't working as hard as me to keep this ship afloat. And we get burned out. I mean, that's what anybody would do. If you in a job and you working so hard, you get burned out. You just like, man, I'm tired. I'm actually tired. I would rather be by myself. And that is what happens. That is what happens. And so we as women, we have to be true to ourselves on all aspects of the dating process, meaning don't allow yourself to do more than what you can consistently do. Don't go into something going full throttle, all out, doing everything that you've never really done just to impress somebody. And that's not truly who you are. Embrace who you are, because somebody gonna love you for exactly who you are. Embrace it, love it. Say, listen, I'm not the most clean person. I ain't gonna sit here and flex to you. I'm not the most clean. So I've gotta know that coming in there. I'm not gonna try to make that any different. There is compromises in marriage. That's what I'm saying. There is that. But a lot of times we as women take on the whole fight and battle to keep a family together, and that's not what that is. It's a two-person job for a reason. Men have a role, women have a role. We don't have the same role. We both have a role though. And so there is things that men biblically have to do, and there's things women have to do biblically. And if we go into a spiritual sense, but on any level, we a team. We here. And so we can't come into something trying to become Mary Poppins when we ain't Mary Poppins. Because eventually that's going to get old, because that's not who you are. So stay true to who you are. Stay true to who you are. Men and women, stay true to who you are. Stay true to what you want, like what you want, what you desire, the things that you need, whatever. Stay true to that. Marry that. Be like, this is what I am. Not saying that you marry that in the sense that you're inflexible to change, because I think it's growing. We're dynamic people. We grow, we change, we grow, we change. We're dynamic. But what I am saying is remain true about who you are, and as women, don't throw yourself into something and try so hard to make something happen and fit a square into a circle when it don't like I remember TD Jakes said this, it was clear as day to me. If it don't force it. If it don't fit, don't force it. If it don't fit, don't force it. Don't force it, sis. If it don't fit, don't force it. Period. So I hope that answers your question, because I definitely went out. I went where I go. Y'all know how I go. I go to another level. Um, lost lost my all my worth and my dignity to a dude, and now I realize I must really hate myself. Why? Why? Why do you ask? And I'm gonna say this question again. Why do you ask? And I know why. Why? Because I was her. That's going back to the point. I was her. I lost all my worth and dignity to dude. And now I realize I must really hate myself. Why? Because you haven't forgiven yourself. I went through a challenging relationship. My first love was a very tumultuous relationship. It was tough, sis. I was accepting things I shouldn't have accepted. We won't get into that. I'll write that in a book somewhere. It was a tough situation. And the reality of that situation after that, I remember still wanting to be in that relationship, still fighting for that relationship, when I should have let it go a long time ago. And what I found was that I had to learn how to forgive myself. I literally had to write myself. I went to therapy several years later because I was listen, years after that, I talk about this. I was a horrible person to be with. I wasn't nobody girlfriend. I was out here and I was just playing dudes. I was taking people seriously. I get tired of them. And really the reality of it was a protection mechanism that I adopted to protect myself from falling in love like that again. And so I literally had to learn, and I had to learn over time that I hadn't forgiven myself because I felt like, dang, sis, like I I can't believe I allowed that. I can't believe I allowed somebody to do me like that. And I kept taking them back and I kept making it okay. And I kept making excuses and I kept chasing after them. I kept doing all these things and I was mad at me. I was really mad at me. I'm like, dang, Sam, you know better than this. Like I was embarrassed to tell my friends. I wasn't talking to nobody. I was isolating myself because I realized, like, dang, I'm in a real messed up situation. Like this is this is genuinely a messed up situation. What are you doing? And conceptualizing that, going to therapy and writing myself a letter and forgiving myself. Forgiving myself because I had to understand and know that I did the best I could with what I had. I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. I was young. I didn't know love. I didn't know relationships. I didn't know how this worked. I didn't know how that felt. And so I had to learn to forgive myself for the mistakes that I had made as a young woman. And so I feel like right here, y'all, just like God has forgiven us, because it goes back to God, it always goes back to God. We can lose ourselves and we can allow the devil to make us feel ashamed for the things that we have accepted, for the things that we have allowed people to do to us. We can stay in a place of feeling hurt, feeling like, how could I allow myself to go through this? What exactly? And then calculate your worth based upon what you just experienced. No, ma'am, don't do that. Don't allow the enemy to keep you in no place that you don't belong. God has called you out of that situation. You are now out. You are now free, and forgive yourself because you did what you could while you had that first heartbreak. We talked about that last time. That first heartbreak teach you some things. Teach some things about the world. Teach you some things about yourself. Teach you some things about some other things about other people. And so what you have to know is that it's okay. You made a mistake like we all did. We all made mistakes. Forgive yourself. It's okay. You might have stayed too long. It's okay. You might have forgave him too much. It's okay. You might have taken him back too often. It's okay. That's all okay. It's okay. You did the best you could with what you had. So forgive yourself. Understand that God is a God of grace. And this life is a life of opportunity. And don't allow anything that you've done in your past just because you experience certain things, because we've all been there. Since we can lie, we can sit here and make it seem like we ain't never did this, we ain't never did that, we ain't never had no situation like this or that. That is a lie. We've been through it. We've all been through it. And so I'm not going to do that to you. I'm going to tell you why you feel like you hate yourself is because you haven't forgiven yourself. You have yet to forgive yourself. And once you forgive yourself, once you say, you know what? I'm gonna give myself some grace. I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. I'm sorry. I didn't know any better. Write yourself a letter. Say everything you want to say. Just put it all out there. Just say, hey, listen, this is exactly, I was whatever, write everything you feel, every single thing you feel about everything you feel about that unresolved relationship. Write it down. I wrote a 4-page letter, like Aaliyah, a 4-page letter, seriously. And I read it to my therapist. And when I read it to my therapist, my therapist, we both cried. And I ripped it up. That was it. I released it. I just had to let that go. And then I was able to see the beauty in who I was and the woman I had become. Because there's evolution in us as a women, as people. So that's what I will say, y'all. That's the answer to that one. Okay. All right. Hi, Sam. I don't even know where to start, but let me try. I'll be 45 years old next month, and I have no children. I had 2 losses in my 20s, which left me a bit bitter in regards to having kids, even though it's something I've always wanted. 3 years ago, I met someone. He had 3 kids. I fell in love with him and his kids. I felt this was what God had for me. This would be my family. He made it clear to me that he didn't want any more kids, so I accepted it. However, 2 years in the relationship, my desire to become a mother grew. We started having lots of problems and we separated, however, never really stopped seeing each other or me having a relationship with his kids. Last March, the day before my birthday, he tells me there was a woman pregnant and possibly could be his. Long story short, the baby is his. He is not living with the woman. I've never felt less of a woman. There were many times where I could have gotten pregnant, but I didn't. And I'm scared it's too late for me. I'm a Christian. I know there's nothing impossible for God. However, my age scares me. Dating again scares me. Falling in love scares me. I don't even know what my question is. I just need some advice. I know this is very long and I'm sorry. Wow, y'all, that's deep. That's a deep one. That's a deep one. That's a real deep one. And what I would say to this one, this is very challenging because